Have you ever looked at the world around you, at the intricate tapestry of everyday existence, and felt a profound, almost persistent intuition that there's simply more to it than what our immediate senses reveal? More than the tangible objects we touch, the visible spectrum our eyes perceive, or the quantifiable measurements our instruments meticulously record. Perhaps it's a fleeting moment of breathtaking awe while gazing at the unfathomable depths of a starry night sky where each distant pinpoint of light seems to whisper secrets of cosmic scale. Or perhaps it's a deep, inexplicable sense of connection to nature, a feeling of belonging that transcends mere biological presence. It could even be an intense, emotional resonance with a piece of art or music that vibrates through your very core, touching something ancient and profound within you, something that goes far beyond mere sound waves and pigment on canvas. This persistent feeling, this gentle yet insistent whisper suggesting that our conventional perception might be but a tiny aperture, an incomplete, perhaps even flawed, lens on an infinitely grander, more mysterious design, is a universally experienced human phenomenon. It's an echo of ancient curiosity, a fundamental yearning that has relentlessly driven humanity's quest for deeper understanding and meaning since the dawn of conscious thought. It's the unsettling, yet exhilarating, suspicion that what we call reality might be a meticulously constructed, but ultimately limited, stage for a far more expansive drama. Now I invite you to engage in a mental exercise, a vivid visualization. Imagine for a moment that you are standing before an immense, utterly featureless wall. It stretches limitlessly in every conceivable direction, rising to an unknown height and sinking into an unseen depth, a monolithic expanse of smooth, uniform, unyielding gray. It seems, without question, to be the very boundary of your entire world, an unyielding testament to what is, and emphatically, what isn't. You reach out, your fingers making tentative contact with its surface. It feels cool, impeccably solid, undeniably impenetrable. This wall defines your immediate reality, enclosing you within its formidable confines, confidently suggesting nothing whatsoever exists beyond its immediate, imposing, and seemingly infinite presence. It embodies everything you currently know, everything you accept as undeniably concrete and undeniably real. This wall, in its stark, absolute simplicity, perfectly mirrors our conventional understanding of reality, a meticulously built framework erected upon observable facts, established scientific principles, and culturally accepted norms. It represents the consensus reality, the one we diligently navigate daily, the one that so often confidently informs us there is no room for the truly extraordinary, no plausible space for the genuinely mysterious, no credible possibility of anything existing beyond its rigorously defined, logical parameters. It's the comfortable cage of the known, albeit one we rarely recognize as a cage at all. But then, as your gaze, perhaps out of boredom or a subconscious urge for something more, sweeps methodically across its vast, blank, seemingly perfect surface, you suddenly notice it. So incredibly small, so utterly inconspicuous, you might easily have overlooked it 1,000 times before. A tiny, almost imperceptible fissure, a hairline crack that subtly disrupts the otherwise flawless uniformity. Your curiosity piqued, you lean closer, squinting intently, and discover, with a jolt of recognition, that it's not merely a crack at all. It is unequivocally a window, an incredibly small, almost forgotten window, deeply recessed and artfully tucked away within the colossal, overwhelming blankness. It doesn't loudly demand attention, it simply is. And through its dusty, perhaps even cobweb-laden pane, a window weathered by time and disuse, you catch the faintest, most tantalizing glimpse of something else, a fleeting flicker of unfamiliar light, a whisper of alien color, a breathtaking suggestion of boundless depth that utterly defies the monotonous blankness of the wall surrounding it. It hints at landscapes unknown, energies unseen, dimensions unimagined, and possibilities unexplored. It's an undeniable invitation, a profound, tantalizing promise that the world you thought you knew, the reality you believed to be absolute and all-encompassing, is in fact but a single, isolated, and incredibly limited chamber within an infinitely vaster, far more intricate, and utterly astonishing mansion of existence. This tiny, hidden window is far more than just a fortunate break in an otherwise unyielding barrier. It's a powerful and resonant metaphor for the intrinsic limits of our ordinary, everyday perception and the boundless, mind-bending expanse of what might lie tantalizingly beyond. For centuries, humanity's relentless exploration of this conceptual blank wall has been guided by different, often seemingly disparate disciplines. Science, with its unparalleled rigor, its unwavering commitment to objective truth, its ever-evolving array of sophisticated tools, from powerful telescopes peering into the cosmic abyss and microscopes revealing hidden cellular universes, to particle accelerators probing the fundamental building blocks of matter and neurological maps charting the intricate pathways of the brain tirelessly chips away at the wall, seeking to measure, analyze, and explain every minute, observable detail. Philosophy, on the other hand, takes a step back from empirical observation, questioning the very nature of the wall itself, pondering the deeper meaning of its existence, challenging the reliability of our senses, and meticulously mapping the elusive boundaries of our knowledge and understanding. And then there's consciousness itself, our own inner landscape, the very mysterious mechanism through which we perceive, interpret, and give meaning to the external world, which offers an entirely different, deeply personal, and often profoundly transformative pathway to understanding. Could the masterful interplay of these three profound pillars of human inquiry, the relentless rigor of scientific investigation, the expansive, critical thought of philosophy, and the profound, experiential depth of human consciousness be the very precise keys, the essential lenses we need not just to glimpse, but to truly perceive, to genuinely experience what lies beyond that hidden window? Could they be the intellectual tools, the conceptual frameworks that magnify that tiny opening, allowing us to peer with ever greater clarity, with profound insight, into the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the mundane, the observable, and the conventionally accepted? What if, indeed, reality is far grander, far stranger, far more interconnected, and imbued with deeper meaning than our everyday experiences and current scientific models alone suggest? What if the universe isn't just a random collection of inert particles and impersonal forces, but a living, breathing, evolving tapestry woven with threads of meaning, purpose, and consciousness itself? This isn't merely a captivating philosophical exercise or an inspiring flight of speculative fancy. This is the very quest, the profound intellectual journey that Sidney T. Klein embarked upon in his truly groundbreaking and remarkably prescient work, Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall. This book is not just a compelling title, it is a meticulously crafted guide, an insightful companion, ready to lead us on an extraordinary intellectual adventure unlike any other. Klein, with a unique and powerful blend of pioneering scientific understanding and profound philosophical insight, extends an open invitation to us all to bravely challenge our most deeply held preconceptions, to willingly shed the comforting, albeit limiting, familiarity of the blank wall, and to courageously peer through that hidden window. He promises to illuminate, with remarkable clarity and compelling arguments, precisely how the cutting edge of scientific discovery, when viewed through the expansive, interrogative lens of philosophical thought and a deeper, more nuanced understanding of consciousness, begins in astonishing ways to unveil a reality far richer, infinitely more complex, profoundly interconnected, and ultimately more awe-inspiring than we could ever have possibly imagined. Prepare to journey beyond the restrictive limits of conventional thinking. Prepare to reconsider everything you thought you knew about the vastness of the universe, about the intricate nature of yourself, and about the very fundamental essence of existence itself. This is an invitation to embrace the exhilarating and tantalizing possibility that the infinite is not some distant, abstract, unknowable concept, but rather an intrinsic, vibrant, and ever-present part of the reality that surrounds and permeates us, patiently waiting to be perceived, truly understood, and profoundly experienced through that tiny, yet utterly profound window. Let us embark together right now on this remarkable exploration, guided by the luminous mind of a visionary who dared to look beyond the blank wall and, in doing so, discovered a universe teeming with wonder, simply waiting to be seen. Hello and welcome. Have you ever felt that there's more to reality than what our senses or even our most advanced instruments can grasp? That persistent whisper, that yearning to peer beyond the familiar horizon, is precisely what brings us here to a truly remarkable, yet tragically overlooked, intellectual treasure, Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall by Sidney T. Klein. Published over a century ago, in 1912, Klein's work is an invitation to a profound shift in perspective. It stands as a testament to an era when science and philosophy intertwined, when brilliant minds weren't afraid to blend rigorous inquiry with deep metaphysical speculation. Yet, despite its prescient insights and elegant arguments, Science and the Infinite remains largely absent from contemporary discussions about the great synthesizers of knowledge. It's a genuine forgotten gem, a hidden spring of wisdom awaiting rediscovery by those willing to venture off the well-trodden intellectual paths. My own unexpected journey to this book began during a period of intense personal reflection, grappling with what felt like the inherent limitations of human perception and scientific inquiry. I was deeply immersed in the fascinating realms of modern physics and cosmology, yet increasingly frustrated by the walls we seemed to constantly encounter the boundaries of the observable universe, the enigmatic nature of consciousness, the seemingly irreducible mysteries of ultimate reality. It often felt as though our vast and beautiful garden of scientific knowledge was enclosed by an infinitely tall, opaque, featureless wall, preventing us from ever truly comprehending the grand landscape beyond. Then, through a fortunate turn of digital serendipity, a rabbit hole of old bibliographies and obscure recommendations, I stumbled upon Klein's evocative title, Through a Window in the Blank Wall. It resonated with me instantly, a perfect echo of my internal quest. As I began to delve into its pages, initially with a cautious academic curiosity, something truly profound began to unfold. It wasn't merely a poetic metaphor. Klein offered a brilliant, coherent, and surprisingly accessible framework, meticulously drawing upon the cutting-edge science of his era, a rich tapestry of physics, astronomy, psychology, and even early theories of relativity to suggest how we might actually conceptualize and perhaps even experience beyond those perceived limits. My aha moment wasn't a sudden, blinding flash, but a slow, exhilarating dawn of understanding. The blank wall, I realized through Klein's insightful guidance, wasn't an impenetrable barrier to ultimate reality, but perhaps just a surface we hadn't yet learned to look through, or even beyond. Klein wasn't just speculating, he was systematically building a rigorous case, presenting arguments that felt both intellectually robust and deeply resonant on a spiritual level, all without ever leaning on dogma or mysticism. It was transformative, clarifying so much of the abstract unease I'd been feeling and providing a fresh, expansive lens through which to view not just the cosmos, but our own consciousness and our place within that infinite expanse. The book didn't just give me answers, it showed me how to ask better questions and where to look for deeper meaning. Now, I understand what you might be anticipating. An old book, written over a century ago, in an era of nascent physics and very different philosophical sensibilities, discussing science and the infinite. Sounds like it could be a challenging read, perhaps even a bit dated or dry. And yes, Klein's prose certainly carries the elegant, sometimes formal cadence of its time. But I promise you, this isn't going to be a dusty academic lecture, nor a monotonous recitation of historical texts. My true aim with this series is far more dynamic. It is to resurrect Klein's truly profound ideas, to translate his often intricate insights into a language and context accessible for our contemporary minds, and crucially, to explore their enduring relevance in an age defined by quantum mechanics, the accelerating advancements of artificial intelligence, and revolutionary new cosmological discoveries. We will collectively peel back the layers of early 20th century scientific language to uncover the universal, timeless truths embedded beneath, truths that are arguably even more pertinent today as we grapple with existential questions of consciousness, the very nature of reality, and our evolving understanding of the universe. This is not about worshiping the past, but about extracting its timeless wisdom for our present and future. We are, in essence, embarking on an intellectual and spiritual journey together, quite literally through the very blank wall that Klein so vividly describes. We'll begin by examining the commonly understood limits of our ordinary human perception and our scientific instruments, exploring why so many brilliant minds, then and now, have felt constrained by what we can directly observe and measure. Then, we will carefully, thoughtfully open the window with Klein, meticulously examining his innovative arguments and philosophical propositions for how we might intellectually and perhaps even experientially glimpse the infinite not as a vague concept, but as an integral, accessible aspect of reality. We'll delve deep into his key concepts, ponder their mind-expanding implications for our understanding of the universe, and reflect on what these insights mean for our personal quest for meaning and connection within the grand tapestry of existence. By the end of this journey, my sincere hope is that you, like me, will view the world not with the old sense of limitation, but with a profoundly refreshed sense of wonder, seeing not a blank wall, but an endless panorama of possibilities stretching majestically into the infinite. Let's open that window together and begin. Welcome to our exploration of Sidney T. Klein's profound work, Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall. As we begin this intellectual journey, we first encounter the foundational metaphor of Klein's entire thesis, The blank wall, a concept so simple yet so powerful in its implications for how we perceive and understand reality. In this first chapter, aptly titled The Blank Wall of Everyday Perception, Klein invites us to confront a fundamental limitation that shapes our entire existence. What exactly is this blank wall? It's not a physical barrier made of bricks and mortar, but a metaphorical boundary, an invisible screen that represents the inherent limits of our five senses and our conventional ways of thinking. It encompasses everything we can't directly perceive, everything our current understanding struggles to grasp, and everything our established cognitive frameworks simply filter out or dismiss. It's the edge of our known world, the horizon of our ordinary awareness, beyond which lie realms of experience and knowledge that remain largely inaccessible to us in our everyday lives. Think about it in modern scientific terms. Our perception of the world is astonishingly narrow. Take light, for instance. We experience the universe through visible light, a vibrant spectrum of colors from red to violet. But this visible light is merely an infinitesimally small sliver of the vast electromagnetic spectrum. Beyond our human perception lie radio waves that carry signals across continents, microwaves that cook our food, infrared radiation that we feel as heat, and ultraviolet rays that give us sunburns. Even further are X-rays, used for medical imaging, and gamma rays, born from cosmic events. All of these are forms of light, yet we remain utterly blind to the overwhelming majority of them. Our blank wall means we're walking through a universe brimming with unseen energy, oblivious to its complex dance. The same limitations apply to sound. Our ears are finely tuned instruments, capable of discerning a remarkable range of pitches and volumes. Yet, there's an entire world of sound beyond our hearing. Bats navigate using ultrasonic frequencies completely imperceptible to us. Dogs respond to whistles far above our auditory range. The deep rumblings of infrasound, often associated with natural disasters or large machinery, can affect us physiologically without us ever consciously hearing them. Our auditory blank wall restricts us to a fraction of the vibratory universe. And these sensory limitations are just one facet of the blank wall. Even more profoundly, our very brains act as architects of our reality, constantly filtering, interpreting, and simplifying the overwhelming torrent of information that bombards us every second. Our minds are not passive receivers, they are active constructors, and in their effort to create a coherent, manageable experience, they inevitably exclude vast amounts of raw data. This is where cognitive biases come into play. Our brains are hardwired with shortcuts heuristics that, while efficient, can distort our perception. Confirmation bias, for example, leads us to seek out and interpret information in a way that confirms our existing beliefs, effectively reinforcing the blank wall around us. The availability heuristic makes us overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled, even if they're statistically rare. Our brains craft a streamlined narrative, a simplified, workable model of the world, often at the expense of its full, complex truth. This isn't a critique of our biology or our intelligence. It's simply an observation of our current state. The blank wall isn't there to imprison us, but to define our starting point. The crucial, transformative first step, as Klein emphasizes, is simply acknowledging its existence. To recognize that our everyday perception, our conventional thinking, and our sensory inputs provide only a partial, filtered view of reality. It's the moment we question whether what we perceive as all there is truly encompasses the infinite possibilities of existence. Once we acknowledge this wall, once we grasp that our reality is a construct limited by our very nature, we can then begin the journey Klein proposes, the search for a window in that wall. Only by understanding the boundaries can we even begin to dream of transcending them. This realization opens the door to profound questions, questions that science, philosophy, and spirituality have grappled with for millennia. But for now, let's simply sit with the implications of the blank wall and prepare to look deeper. Welcome back. In our journey through Sidney T. Klein's profound work, Science and the Infinite, we now open the second chapter, aptly titled Science as the Window. For many, science conjures images of sterile laboratories, complex equations, rigid facts, a definitive set of answers that demystifies the world. But Klein, and indeed a deeper understanding of the scientific endeavor, presents a vastly different picture. Science, he argues, isn't a final destination of knowledge, but rather a dynamic tool, a sophisticated lens, a window that allows us to perceive realities far beyond the limitations of our natural senses. At its heart, science is disciplined curiosity. It's the structured, systematic, and often incredibly creative pursuit of understanding, driven by an insatiable desire to know why and how. It's not about accepting dogma, but about questioning, observing, hypothesizing, and testing. It transforms our innate human wonder into a powerful methodology for exploration. Think of it less as a cold, calculating machine and more as the ultimate explorer's toolkit, constantly refined and expanded. Consider the literal instruments that have revolutionized our perception. The microscope, for instance, isn't just a gadget. It's a window into an entire universe invisible to the naked eye. Before Hooke and Van Leeuwenhoek, the bustling world of microbes, the intricate structures of cells, and life at its tiniest scale were utterly unknown. They existed, of course, but our senses were blind to them. The microscope opened a new dimension of reality, revealing a vibrant ecosystem on the head of a pin, or the complex inner workings of our own tissues. Then there's the telescope, our window to the cosmos. Gazing up at the night sky with our unaided eyes shows us a smattering of stars, a moon, and a few planets. But through the lens of a telescope, that view explodes into a breathtaking panorama of swirling galaxies, distant nebulae birthing new stars, the faint echoes of the universe's beginning. It extends our vision light years beyond our immediate view, allowing us to witness events that transpired millions, even billions of years ago. We are literally looking back in time, seeing the universe as it once was, all thanks to this incredible instrument. And what about instruments like the particle collider? Here, the window becomes abstract, yet profoundly real. By smashing particles together at unimaginable speeds, we aren't just looking at things. We're creating the conditions to glimpse the most fundamental constituents of matter and the forces that govern them. We're observing the ephemeral dance of quarks and leptons, sensing the Higgs boson, peering into the very building blocks of existence, scales so minute they defy everyday comprehension. These instruments are extensions of our senses, artificial eyes and ears allowing us to touch the edges of the infinitely small and the infinitely vast. Beyond these tangible tools, scientific theories themselves serve as conceptual windows. Take Albert Einstein's theories of relativity. They aren't just equations on a blackboard, they are profound frameworks that allow us to perceive the interconnectedness of space and time, to understand gravity not as a force, but as a curvature in the fabric of space-time itself. Before relativity, our understanding of the universe's mechanics was limited by Newtonian intuitions, useful but failing at extreme scales. Relativity provided a new perspective, revealing a universe where clocks run differently depending on speed, where mass and energy are interchangeable, and where the cosmos itself is a dynamic, evolving entity. It allowed us to see the universe in previously unimaginable ways, reshaping our conception of reality. Similarly, quantum mechanics provides a window into the subatomic world, a realm where particles can be in multiple places at once, where observation fundamentally changes reality, and where probabilities reign supreme. This theory challenges our macroscopic common sense, yet it is an incredibly powerful and accurate description of how the universe behaves at its most fundamental level. It's a lens that reveals the bizarre, non-intuitive nature of reality beneath the surface of our everyday experience, proving that our naked senses perceive but a sliver of what truly is. Now, some might fear that science, by providing explanations, diminishes wonder. They might argue that dissecting a flower reduces its beauty, or understanding a rainbow spoils its magic. But Klein and any true scientist would vehemently disagree. Far from diminishing wonder, science expands it immeasurably. Each answer science provides doesn't close a door, but opens 10 new ones, revealing layers of complexity and elegance we never knew existed. When we understand the intricate cellular processes that allow a flower to bloom, its beauty is not lessened. It is magnified by the appreciation of its biological marvel. When we comprehend the physics of light dispersion that creates a rainbow, its spectacle becomes even more breathtaking, a testament to the fundamental laws governing our universe. Scientific understanding of the vastness of space, the incredible energy of stars, and the sheer improbability of life doesn't make the universe less mysterious. Instead, it deepens our awe, transforming mystery from a blank unknown into a profound, ever-expanding frontier. Science reveals that the universe is far stranger, more intricate, and infinitely more fascinating than our immediate perceptions suggest. It peels back the curtain, allowing glimpses of realities grander, more subtle, and more interconnected than we could ever have dreamed. It doesn't reduce the infinite to the finite. It shows us that the infinite is woven into every thread of existence, from the smallest subatomic particle to the largest cosmic structures. Through the window of science, we don't just observe the world, we engage with its deeper truths, continually expanding our appreciation for the boundless mystery and wonder that define our existence. This is the profound gift of science, not rigid answers, but an endlessly widening perspective on the vast, uncharted territories of reality. Welcome back. In our previous chapters, we've laid the groundwork for Sidney T. Klein's provocative journey, understanding how he views science not as a confined box of knowledge, but as a window, a portal through which we glimpse something far vaster. Now, in Chapter 3, titled Glimpses of the Infinite, we truly step through that window. Here, Klein invites us to confront concepts that don't just expand our minds, but stretch them, bending our understanding of reality and pushing the very limits of human imagination. What does infinite truly mean? It's a word we toss around casually, but its implications are staggering. Mathematically, infinity isn't just a very large number, it's a concept beyond quantification. We encounter it in calculus, in set theory, in the never-ending decimals of pi. But when we extend this concept to the cosmos, the mind reels. Is the universe truly infinite in spatial extent? Does it stretch on forever without boundary or end? If so, every possibility, every permutation of matter and energy must exist an infinite number of times. Somewhere out there, an exact replica of you is listening to this very audiobook, perhaps at this exact moment. This isn't science fiction, it's a direct consequence of an infinite universe. Klein challenges us to grapple with this scale not as a mathematical abstraction, but as a potential reality revealed through the lens of physics and astronomy. The sheer enormity of such a proposition makes our daily lives feel simultaneously insignificant and profoundly connected to something unimaginably vast. It's a humbling, almost spiritual experience, contemplating the boundlessness that scientific inquiry hints at. But infinity is just one facet of the universe's strangeness. What about dimensions beyond the three we comfortably inhabit? Our world is 3D length, width, height. We understand a 2D world, like a drawing on paper, has only length and width. To truly grasp higher dimensions, we can turn to Edwin Abbott's classic Flatland. Imagine a world populated by intelligent geometric shapes, living on an infinitely thin plane. They can move left, right, forward, backward, but up or down is utterly inconceivable to them. If a 3D sphere were to pass through their world, they wouldn't see a sphere. They would perceive a point appearing, growing into a circle, then shrinking back to a point and vanishing. To them, it would be a magical, inexplicable event, a shape appearing out of nowhere, changing form and disappearing, seemingly defying their physical laws. Now extend this analogy to us, three-dimensional beings. What if there's a fourth spatial dimension, or even more, that we simply cannot perceive directly? A hypersphere passing through our 3D space might appear as a solid object materializing, changing shape, and vanishing, much like the sphere in Flatland. This isn't just theoretical physics. It's a profound challenge to our intuitive understanding of space. Klein invites us to consider that our three dimensions are merely a slice, a limited perspective, of a much larger, more complex reality. The window of science doesn't just show us what's within our grasp, it illuminates the possibility of what lies beyond, hinting at realms that are physically real but imperceptible to our direct senses. It means that what we perceive as solid or fixed might just be a shadow cast by a higher dimensional object. From the boundless expanse of space and the perplexing nature of extra dimensions, Klein steers us towards perhaps the most profound mystery of all, consciousness itself. We are, after all, the observers, the ones asking these questions. But what is consciousness? Why does the intricate dance of neurons and synapses give rise to subjective experience, to the feeling of being? Science can map brain activity, identify neural correlates of thought and emotion, and even predict our choices before we're consciously aware of them. Yet, it struggles to explain the hard problem of consciousness, why there is a what it's like to be us. Why aren't we just incredibly complex biological machines, devoid of inner life? Klein, in his exploration of the infinite, seems to suggest that consciousness isn't an accidental byproduct of evolution, but perhaps a fundamental aspect of reality, or at least a crucial interface with it. Is it a window to the infinite within us, a link between our material selves and something far grander, far less reducible? The very act of contemplating infinity, higher dimensions, and the universe's mysteries is an act of consciousness. It's the universe reflecting upon itself, questioning its own nature. This profound mystery suggests that the blank wall isn't just external, it exists within our own skulls, challenging us to look through the window of science, not just at stars and particles, but at the very act of seeing and knowing. As we pull back from these mind-bending concepts, infinite universes, hidden dimensions, the enigma of consciousness, a single overarching theme emerges. The universe is not just stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. What science reveals through its methodical observation and rigorous logic isn't a neat, easily categorized cosmos. Instead, it's a tapestry woven with paradoxes, unimaginable scales, and profound mysteries that seem to deepen with every new discovery. Klein's journey, and ours alongside him, is an invitation to embrace this strangeness, to find wonder in the inexplicable, and to realize that our current understanding is merely a flickering lamp in an immense cosmic darkness. The window of science isn't just for looking out at what is already known, it's a dynamic aperture that continually widens, revealing ever more breathtaking and bewildering vistas. It suggests that reality is not static, not something to be fully captured by current theories, but a living, evolving mystery richer and more complex than any myth or fantasy. To peer through this window is to accept that the boundaries of our comprehension are fluid, and that the greatest adventures lie not in finding definitive answers, but in continually asking bigger, bolder, and more humbling questions about the infinite wonder that surrounds us and indeed permeates us. As we peel back the layers of reality in Sidney T. Klein's Science and the Infinite, we've journeyed through the cosmos and peered into the very fabric of existence. But what if the deepest mystery isn't just what we're observing, but the very act of observation itself? In Chapter 4, The Observer in the Equation, we confront a radical idea, one that bridges the chasm between the cold, hard data of physics and the most profound philosophical questions humanity has ever dared to ask: the role of consciousness in shaping reality. At the heart of this discussion lies a phenomenon from the bizarre world of quantum physics, often referred to as the observer effect. Now, don't let the term intimidate you. It's simpler than it sounds, though its implications are mind-bending. Imagine tiny, fundamental particles, the building blocks of everything around us. When these particles are left to their own devices, unobserved, they exist in a kind of hazy potentiality, a superposition of all possible states simultaneously. Think of it like a blurred photograph where an object could be in many places at once. However, the moment we attempt to measure or observe one of these particles, even indirectly, something astonishing happens. That hazy potentiality snaps into a definite reality. The particle chooses a single state, a single location. It's as if the act of looking at it forces it to make up its mind. It's crucial to understand this isn't about human seeing in the conventional sense, but about any form of interaction or measurement that brings information about the particle into our observable universe. The famous double-slit experiment beautifully illustrates this. Particles behave like waves when unobserved, creating interference patterns, but when we put a detector in place to see which slit they go through, they suddenly act like particles, passing through one slit or the other, and the interference pattern vanishes. The very act of seeking information changes the outcome. This quantum quirk thrusts us headfirst into ancient philosophical debates. If subatomic particles only solidify into a definite state upon observation, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? Does the moon truly exist if no one is looking at it, as Einstein famously pondered? Or, to use the classic thought experiment, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? For centuries, We've largely operated under the assumption of an objective, independent reality, a universe out there that exists whether or not we perceive it. Our role was simply to uncover its pre-existing truths. But quantum mechanics, through the observer effect, challenges this deeply ingrained assumption. It suggests that reality, at its most fundamental level, might be far more fluid, far more responsive to consciousness, or at least to interaction than we ever imagined. It blurs the line between the subjective and the objective, prompting us to ask if the universe is truly out there in the way we've always conceived it. This isn't just about the microscopic world of quanta. It opens a window into our own macroscopic existence. If reality at its core requires an observer to collapse its possibilities into actuality, then perhaps we are not merely passive recipients of sensory data, but active participants in the ongoing creation of our perceived universe. Klein's book, with its metaphor of looking through a window in the blank wall, hints at precisely this. What if the blank wall isn't just an absence of information, but a canvas awaiting our conscious interaction to manifest its forms? Our consciousness, our attention, our very act of seeking and defining might be the brushstroke that brings the world into vivid focus. This perspective moves us beyond simply describing the universe to recognizing our intimate, intrinsic connection to it. We aren't just observing the universe. In some profound sense, we are continually helping to define it, to give it form and meaning. Our internal models, our expectations, our beliefs, they all contribute to the lens through which we perceive and perhaps even construct our reality. We are not external to the system. We are very much a part of the equation. And this leads us to perhaps the most breathtaking, mind-expanding question of all, one that sits at the very frontier of science and spirituality. Is the universe experiencing itself through us? If consciousness is an integral component in the manifestation of reality, if our act of observation is indeed a creative act, then perhaps our individual awareness isn't isolated, but rather a localized expression of a universal consciousness. Could our minds be the sensory organs of the cosmos, allowing the vast, infinite universe to observe its own intricate workings, to feel its own existence, to marvel at its own beauty and complexity? This isn't to say that rocks or inanimate objects don't exist without us, but rather to suggest that the experience of their existence, the unfolding of their potentiality into definite form, might be inextricably linked to the presence of an observer, whether that observer is human, animal, or something far grander and more encompassing. It transforms our understanding of self, elevating us from mere spectators to essential components of the cosmic drama. It's a humbling yet exhilarating thought that each moment of our awareness, each flicker of our consciousness, is a moment when the universe awakens to itself. The boundless journey through the pages of Sidney T. Klein's Science and the Infinite continues, and in this 5th chapter, we turn our gaze to a profound revelation that bridges the chasm between the minute and the magnificent as above, so below patterns of existence. This ancient Hermetic principle suggests a deep resonance between all levels of reality, from the cosmos to the atom, and modern science, through the lens of fractals, offers compelling evidence that this wisdom holds true. At its core, a fractal is a never-ending pattern that repeats itself at different scales. Imagine zooming into an image only to find the same intricate structure appearing again and again, no matter how close you get. These are shapes that possess self-similarity, meaning a small part of the shape looks identical to, or at least very similar to the whole. They defy traditional Euclidean geometry, existing in dimensions that are often fractional, reflecting the complex, irregular beauty of the natural world rather than the straight lines and perfect circles of our textbooks. They are the mathematical language of chaos and complexity, yet they reveal a fundamental order hidden within. Consider the humble tree. Its trunk branches into boughs, which then divide into smaller branches, then twigs, and finally individual leaves, each a miniature fractal in itself. The pattern of branching, however, remains remarkably consistent. This isn't an isolated phenomenon. Observe the mesmerizing spread of lightning across a stormy sky, a striking, instantaneous tree of electrical discharge, mimicking the very structures rooted in the earth. The intricate network of rivers and tributaries carving their way across landscapes displays the same fractal geometry, efficiently distributing water across vast regions. These are not coincidences, but rather expressions of optimal processes, elegant solutions arrived at by nature for distributing resources or energy. But the real awe-inspiring moment comes when we expand our vision, stretching from the biological microscopic to the astronomical cosmic. Look at the neural networks within the human brain, billions of neurons branching out, forming an incredibly complex web of connections. Each neuron, with its dendritic arbor, exhibits a branching pattern that echoes the trees and lightning we just discussed. Now, lift your eyes to the heavens and behold the large-scale structure of the universe itself. Galaxies are not randomly scattered, but organized into vast cosmic filaments and superclusters, separated by immense voids, forming a colossal web that, uncannily, mirrors the neural networks of our brains. The universe, it seems, has its own cosmic neurons, creating a mind-boggling visual rhyme between the architecture of thought and the architecture of everything. What might these recurring patterns imply about the fundamental nature of existence? The consistent appearance of fractal designs across such disparate scales and contexts, from the delicate structures within our bodies to the colossal arrangements of galaxies, strongly suggests a unified, underlying intelligence or order woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. It hints at a cosmic blueprint, a foundational algorithm from which all diversity springs. It's as if the universe is endlessly iterating upon a few elegant design principles, manifesting them in countless forms, yet always retaining that unmistakable signature. This isn't merely a fascinating observation, it's a profound whisper that the seemingly chaotic universe is, in fact, orchestrated with an astonishing degree of coherence and purpose. This scientific observation resonates deeply with ancient spiritual and philosophical wisdom across cultures and millennia. The principle as above, so below, rooted in Hermetic traditions, isn't just a poetic metaphor, it becomes a description of a verifiable reality. Indigenous traditions often speak of the interconnectedness of all life, seeing patterns in nature as reflections of greater spiritual truths. Eastern philosophies, too, emphasize the holographic nature of reality, where each part contains the essence of the whole. These ancient insights, once dismissed as mystical conjectures, gain new weight when confronted with the mathematical elegance of fractals. Klein's quest to find a window in the blank wall of our perceived reality finds fertile ground here, suggesting that these patterns are not merely coincidental, but are indeed clues, hinting at a reality far more integrated and intelligent than our conventional scientific paradigms often allow. The sheer universality of these fractal patterns invites us to ponder the very source of this order. Is it the inevitable outcome of physical laws, or does it point to a deeper conscious design? The universe, in its intricate self-replication, appears to be communicating a fundamental truth that we are not isolated fragments in a random expanse, but rather integral components of a grand, interconnected tapestry echoing the whole and reflected within every part. These patterns are a cosmic fingerprint, a constant reminder that the infinite intelligence that shapes the farthest reaches of space also dances within the branching veins of a leaf and the synapses of our own minds. Welcome back as we continue our journey through Sidney T. Klein's Science and the Infinite. We've glimpsed grander realities, but perhaps no concept is more fundamental, yet more stubbornly misunderstood than time itself. We live by it, measure it, chase it, and lament its passage, taking its linear progression as an unshakable truth. In this chapter, Deconstructing Our Idea of Time, we challenge that ingrained perception. Prepare to unlearn what you thought you knew, as we explore how time, far from a simple universal clock, is an intricate, pliable dimension. We'll draw on modern physics and ancient philosophy to unpack this elusive concept, inviting you to experience life not as a race against the clock, but as an immersion in the eternal present. Our everyday experience dictates time marches forward, steadily and uniformly for everyone. A second is a second, we believe. This accepted wisdom reigned until Albert Einstein shattered it with relativity. He revealed time isn't an absolute, independent entity, but a flexible component of space-time and time interwoven, not separate stages. Crucially, time is relative. It doesn't tick at the same rate for everyone. An observer moving at high speed experiences time passing more slowly than someone stationary. Strong gravitational fields, like near a black hole, also slow time. This isn't fiction, it's verified, integral to GPS, which accounts for these relativistic effects. Einstein showed no universal now, no cosmic clock. Each observer, each point in space-time, has its own unique flow. This profound insight cracks open our linear perception, hinting that time is far more intricate than a simple arrow from past to future. If physics shows time isn't absolute, philosophy proposes the block universe or eternal now. Imagine reality not as a flowing river, but a vast, unchanging block where all moments past, present, future exists simultaneously, like a completed sculpture. The past isn't gone, the future isn't yet, they simply are, alongside our present, in a single, four-dimensional continuum. Our perception of time moving is merely how consciousness navigates this static block. Like reading a book, all pages exist, you just experience them sequentially. From this perspective, your birth, this listening moment, your eventual passing are all equally real, just at different points within this eternal structure. This reshapes our understanding of causality. It's a mind-bending idea, resonating with Klein's infinite reality, suggesting our linear experience is a narrow sliver of an unimaginably grander, timeless whole. What do these abstract ideas mean for your life? The implications are profound. Our ingrained, linear perception of time powerfully shapes anxieties and aspirations. We project into the future, worrying what might happen, or ruminate on the past, dwelling on what was. This mental time travel often roots stress, regret, and dissatisfaction. If past and future are simply there in a block universe, and time is relative, our intense emotional attachment to them, as if constantly shifting and threatening, appears as a trick of consciousness. The only moment we truly experience is the present. The now isn't a fleeting point, it's the sole contact with reality where life actually happens. Understanding time as a construct liberates us from the ticking clock, encouraging us to anchor firmly in the present, where genuine presence and peace reside. It transforms anticipation and memory into mental tools, not inescapable masters. How do we practically experiment with deconstructing time? Through mindfulness. This ancient practice is the art of paying attention, on purpose, to the present moment, without judgment. It means stepping out of mental narratives about past and future, and simply observing what is your breath, sounds, body sensations. When you practice mindfulness, you're not just calming your mind, you're engaging with time differently. You might notice moments where time slows, expands, or even disappears as consciousness absorbs the immediate experience. Take a moment now, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Notice your breath entering and leaving your body. Don't change it, just observe the sensations. Listen to sounds, not labeling them. For a few seconds, you're not tracking time linearly, you're experiencing it. This simple, powerful practice allows us to taste the eternal now, connecting with that deeper, timeless reality Klein points toward. It's a window into the infinite through direct, embodied experience. Consistently returning to the present loosens time's grip, making us more peaceful, fully alive, and present. We've challenged our fundamental assumptions about time. From Einstein's relativistic universe, where time flexes, to the philosophical block universe, where all moments coexist, we see our linear perception is just one, perhaps limited, way of apprehending reality. Sidney T. Klein, in his quest for the infinite, understood perceptions are often veils. By deconstructing time, we lift one, revealing a reality richer, more complex, and profoundly present. This isn't merely an intellectual exercise, it's an invitation to live differently, to reclaim experience from the clock's relentless march, and to find stillness and presence within existence's unfolding tapestry. Next, we'll delve into consciousness, exploring how our awareness might unlock even more mysteries of the infinite. Our journey through Sidney T. Klein's Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall, has been one of expanding perception, challenging our understanding of reality and the universe itself. We've peered through that metaphorical window, glimpsing what lies beyond immediate sensory experience. Now in Chapter 7, The Cosmic Web of Interconnection, we synthesize these insights into perhaps the most profound realization of all, a fundamental, irreducible unity that permeates existence. Imagine the universe not as isolated objects, but as an unimaginably vast, intricate cosmic web. Every galaxy, star, planet, creature, atom, each a shimmering node within this boundless network. Between them stretch countless filaments of energy, information, and influence, connecting everything to everything else. This isn't just poetic, it's a way of conceiving a universe where isolation is an illusion, where every part is inextricably linked to the whole. Our sun to a distant quasar, our breath to ancient forests, our thoughts part of a grand cosmic dialogue. For centuries, science dissected, isolated, breaking phenomena into smaller parts. Yet, delving deeper, especially into fundamental reality, a different picture emerges. Quantum physics offers tantalizing glimpses of this inherent interconnectedness. Consider quantum entanglement, famously called spooky action at a distance by Einstein. Imagine two entangled particles, perhaps electrons, even separated by vast distances across a lab or light years, they remain intimately linked. Measure one's spin, and the other instantaneously assumes a correlated state, regardless of separation. No signal is sent, their connection is non-local, transcending space and time as we know them. This isn't magic, it's a verified aspect of reality. It suggests that at the deepest quantum level, the universe isn't discrete, independent entities, but an undivided whole, particles manifesting an underlying interconnected field. If subatomic particles, everything's building blocks, exhibit such profound non-local connections, what does this imply for the larger structures they form for us, our world, the entire cosmic web? It implies these threads are woven into existence's very fabric. Embracing this understanding has profound ethical and personal implications. If the cosmic web is real, if quantum entanglement hints at universal non-locality, then our notion of being separate, isolated beings is fundamentally challenged. We aren't just individual nodes, disconnected from our environment or each other. Instead, we are integral, unique expressions of this universal tapestry. Our individual consciousness is not an island, but a ripple in an ocean of consciousness. This realization transforms our relationship with ourselves, others, and the planet. It fosters deep empathy if interconnected, another's joys and sufferings are not alien. Their experience resonates, touching our own corner of existence. It cultivates profound responsibility. Every action, every decision, sends vibrations through the cosmic web. Our choices, however small, aren't confined, they ripple outwards, influencing the whole's delicate balance. This isn't just poetic fancy, it's a fundamental truth of a universe built on interconnection. Finally, this understanding bestows an undeniable sense of belonging. In a world often characterized by alienation, the cosmic web reminds us we are utterly, completely, beautifully embedded. We aren't accidents, we are essential threads in this magnificent, ongoing creation. Our existence is indispensable to the grand design. We belong to the stars, the earth, each other, and the infinite consciousness underpinning it all. Sidney T. Klein, through his window in the blank wall, invited us to glimpse realities defying conventional perception. The cosmic web, illuminated by scientific discovery and intuitive understanding, serves as the ultimate synthesis of his vision. It's a vision where finite and infinite intertwine, where science unveils the spiritual, and where the deepest truth is unity. To live with this awareness is to live with grace, purpose, and unending wonder at existence, knowing that in the cosmos's vastness, you are never truly alone. Having journeyed through the intricate tapestries of cosmic mechanics, the perplexing nature of time, and the very fabric of existence as revealed by Sidney T. Klein, we now arrive at a pivotal juncture, Chapter 8, Living with an Open Window. Klein masterfully opens our minds to the vast, the abstract, the infinite. But what do we do with such grand revelations? How do we take these mind-bending concepts and ground them in the ordinary rhythm of our days? This chapter isn't about solving the universe's riddles, it's about integrating a sense of wonder and infinity into the very texture of our daily lives, making the profound accessible and transforming our perception of the mundane. It's entirely natural to feel a pang of insignificance when contemplating the sheer scale of the cosmos, the endlessness of time, or the unknowable depths of the infinite. The human mind, wired for order and boundaries, can easily become overwhelmed by such boundless concepts. We might feel like tiny specks adrift in an indifferent ocean, but Klein invites us to shift our perspective, not to shrink in the face of infinity, but to expand into it. The goal isn't to grapple with every single star or molecule, but to cultivate a sense of awe. Awe is an open-hearted response, a welcoming of the grandeur without the pressure to fully comprehend it. It's about feeling connected, rather than disconnected. The open window isn't a portal to a daunting void, but a beautiful frame through which we can witness an ever-unfolding mystery. It's an invitation to wonder, a gentle nudge to look outward and inward with renewed curiosity, shedding the weight of intellectual burden for the lightness of fascination. So, how do we begin? Klein doesn't suggest abandoning daily routines for mountaintop retreats. Instead, he urges us to look closer, to truly see the world around us. Consider a simple leaf. Observe its intricate network of veins, a miniature highway delivering life-sustaining nutrients. Marvel at its color, the product of countless photons interacting with chlorophyll, a process fueling entire ecosystems. In that single leaf, you can glimpse nature's infinite complexity and elegant design. Or turn your gaze skyward. The stars are not just pinpricks of light, they are ancient suns, each with its own story. The light reaching your eyes may have traveled for millennia, a tangible thread connecting you to a deep, cosmic past. Their sheer number and unimaginable distances evoke a profound sense of scale. Perhaps most profoundly, practice being present. The now is an infinite point of convergence. When you fully immerse yourself in a moment, the warmth of your coffee cup, the sound of rain, the sensation of your breath, you momentarily dissolve the boundaries of past and future. In that profound present, freed from distraction, you tap into the continuous, boundless flow of existence. This isn't just mindfulness, it's an encounter with the eternal, an experience of infinity not as something out there, but as an inherent quality of this very moment. Every mundane act can become a doorway to the infinite if approached with intention and open awareness. Central to Klein's philosophy is the comfort found in the embrace of mystery, the profound power of not knowing. Our intellect yearns for answers, for neat boxes and conclusive explanations. Yet, much of the infinite, by its very definition, lies beyond the grasp of current human comprehension. Klein's blank wall isn't an obstacle to be overcome by sheer intellectual force, but a recognition of a boundary beyond which pure reason may not fully penetrate. To be comfortable with not knowing is not an admission of defeat, it is a profound liberation. It frees us from the often frustrating pursuit of definitive answers to questions that may not have them in a form we can intellectually grasp, opening instead a space for wonder, for intuition, for a deeper, more profound kind of understanding that transcends mere logic. This acceptance cultivates humility, aligning with the very spirit of scientific inquiry, where every discovery often reveals more questions, pushing the frontier of knowledge further. Embracing this beautiful enigma allows us to experience the universe not as a puzzle, but as an endless poem to be felt. And what is the ultimate fruit of this perspective? It is a wellspring of creativity as rigid thought patterns dissolve, replaced by fresh insights and boundless possibilities. It brings a profound sense of peace as anxieties about the unknown diminish and we find our place within the grand, unfolding tapestry of existence. Most beautifully, it cultivates a deep and abiding joy, a joy found not in acquisition or control, but in the sheer wonder of being, of witnessing, of participating in the infinite dance of reality. Living with an open window, then, is not merely observing, it is a transformative way of being, one that enriches every facet of our human experience. Now that we've delved into the profound ideas presented by Sidney T. Klein, and perhaps begun to glimpse the potential for windows in our own blank walls of perception, it's time for action. This isn't just theory, it's an invitation to experience. So, I challenge you to embark on a 7-day journey, a practical expedition designed to help you carve your own window, even if it's just a tiny crack at first, into the infinite. This isn't about dramatic revelation overnight, but about cultivating a new way of seeing, questioning, and connecting. Think of it as a guided experiment, a playful exploration of your own consciousness and its relationship with reality, directly inspired by the spirit of Klein's pursuit. For day 1 and day 2, practice deep looking. Dedicate just 5 minutes each day to this exercise. Find a natural object, a leaf, a stone, a flower, a cloud scudding across the sky, or even a single drop of water on a window pane. Your task is to observe it without judgment, without labeling it, without trying to understand its purpose or categorize it. Simply look. Let your gaze soften, yet remain focused. Notice the intricate patterns, the subtle variations in color, the way light plays upon its surface, its texture, its unique contours. Try to perceive its inherent isness, its singular existence, beyond your preconceived notions of what that object is. Let go of the thought, "This is just a leaf," and instead wonder, "What is this leaf truly?" This practice helps quiet the analytical mind, allowing for a more direct, unfiltered experience of reality, much like a scientist patiently observing a phenomenon before drawing conclusions. It's about stripping away the familiar and embracing pure observation, revealing the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. For day 3 and day 4, question an assumption. Take some time to journal about a belief you hold about reality itself, one you've likely never questioned. This could be anything from the absolute nature of time, the solidity of matter, the boundaries of consciousness, or even the limitations you place on your own perception. For instance, do you assume that what you see is all there is to see? Do you believe that objects exist independently of your observation, or that space is truly empty between points? Write down this assumption, then actively challenge it. Ask yourself, what if this assumption isn't entirely true? What alternative perspectives could exist? What evidence, if any, supports my belief, and what experiences might subtly contradict it? What would it feel like if this assumption were different? This exercise is designed to loosen the grip of ingrained mental frameworks, opening pathways for new ideas, much like Klein himself dared to question the seemingly blank wall of the cosmos. By actively interrogating our mental models, we create space for new insights to emerge, allowing for a broader, more flexible understanding of existence. For day 5 and day 6, contemplate scale. Find a quiet moment for meditation, focusing on your profound connection to both the microscopic and the cosmic. Begin by considering the intricate universe within you, the billions of cells collaborating, the dance of atoms, the complex biological machinery that allows you to perceive and exist. Feel your body not as a solid, static mass, but as a vibrant, dynamic ecosystem of incredible complexity. Then, slowly expand your awareness outwards. Picture yourself on Earth spinning through space, a tiny blue marble in a vast solar system. Envision our solar system as part of the Milky Way galaxy, one of hundreds of billions, itself a speck in the observable universe, an expanse of unimaginable scale and grandeur. Feel your connection to the stardust that formed you, the ancient energies that permeate all things. Acknowledge your smallness in the face of such immensity, yet simultaneously marvel at the miraculous fact of your conscious existence within it all. How does this shift in perspective alter your sense of self, your priorities, your worries? This contemplation cultivates a sense of awe, humility, and interconnectedness, reminding us that we are woven into the very fabric of an infinite, unfolding reality, echoing Klein's search for meaning beyond the immediate. Finally, for day 7, share your view. The journey of expanded perception often benefits from articulation. Choose one of the ideas, observations, or insights you've gained this week and discuss it with a trusted friend, family member, or colleague. Simply share what you experienced or questioned without needing to convince them of anything. Perhaps describe a moment of wonder you encountered during your deep looking, or the surprising thought that arose when you challenged an assumption. If sharing verbally feels too vulnerable, choose to write about it instead. Jot down your reflections in a journal, or even compose a short piece of prose or poetry describing a newfound moment of awe. Articulating your experience not only solidifies it within your own understanding, but can also inspire others and open up new avenues for conversation and shared discovery. This act of sharing is vital. It externalizes the internal shift, giving it form and allowing it to resonate beyond your personal experience, building bridges between minds and confirming the reality of your individual window. This 7-day plan is merely a starting point, a gentle push into uncharted territories of your own mind. It's not about finding definitive answers, but about cultivating a spirit of inquiry, a willingness to see beyond the obvious, and a profound appreciation for the mysterious beauty of existence. Continue to practice these habits, integrate them into your daily life, and watch as your own blank walls begin to reveal hidden windows, offering ever-expanding vistas into the boundless nature of science and the infinite. The journey, like the infinite itself, has no true end, only ever-widening horizons. So take the first step. Begin to carve your window. We've journeyed through the profound insights of Sidney T. Klein, peering through the intellectual window in the blank wall he so eloquently described. As we draw our exploration to a close, let's distill the essence of our journey into 3 fundamental keys, 3 guiding principles, easily remembered, that can help us navigate the vastness of the infinite, even from our limited human vantage point. These aren't just concepts, they are invitations to a different way of experiencing reality. Our first key is perhaps the most humbling, yet ultimately liberating. Acknowledge the wall. Klein meticulously argued that what we perceive as reality through our everyday senses is in fact merely a sliver, a filtered, limited version of a far grander, more intricate truth. It's akin to looking at the world through a tiny keyhole and mistaking that glimpse for the entire landscape. Think of our senses not as perfect receptors, but as practical tools, finely tuned to help us survive within a specific, narrow bandwidth of existence. The world as it truly is extends far beyond the colors we see, the sounds we hear, or the textures we feel. This blank wall isn't an absence of reality, but rather a profound boundary of our conventional perception, an acknowledgement that our minds inherently filter, interpret, and actively construct the world around us. Embracing this truth frees us from the unconscious illusion that our immediate, subjective experience is the only experience. It's the essential first step, priming us for a deeper, more expansive understanding, opening our minds to possibilities we might otherwise dismiss. This brings us seamlessly to our second key: use the window. Once we acknowledge the limitations of our everyday perception, the natural, compelling next step is to actively seek ways to transcend them. And here, Klein brilliantly positions both scientific discovery and conscious inquiry as our most powerful, accessible tools. The window isn't some mystical portal, but the methodical, curious and rigorous pursuit of knowledge that tirelessly pushes the boundaries of what we understand. Science, through its ingenious instruments and its relentless questioning, allows us to peer beyond the blank wall, revealing galaxies light years away, particles smaller than we can possibly imagine, and fundamental forces invisible to the naked eye. But it's not just empirical science. Conscious inquiry, philosophical exploration, and deep introspection also serve as invaluable lenses, sharpening our awareness, challenging our ingrained assumptions, and profoundly expanding our internal universe. This key empowers each of us to actively participate in the discovery of reality rather than passively accepting its surface appearance. It's an invitation to cultivate boundless curiosity, to embrace intellectual courage, and to commit to a lifelong journey of exploration and revelation. Finally, we arrive at the most expansive and truly transformative key: embrace the view. As we peer through the window, as our understanding expands and deepens, the profound, unifying truth that emerges is this: you are an interconnected, essential part of a mysterious and infinite universe. Klein's vision isn't one of cosmic indifference or human alienation, but of profound, undeniable belonging. The universe isn't a distant, cold entity. You are intrinsically, intimately woven into its very fabric. The very atoms that compose your being were forged billions of years ago in the hearts of dying stars. The consciousness that allows you to ponder these profound ideas is a miraculous manifestation of an intricate, ongoing cosmic dance. This key invites us to move beyond mere intellectual comprehension to a deeply felt sense of awe, wonder, and profound, visceral connection. It encourages us to lovingly shed the illusion of separateness and recognize our irreplaceable place within the grand, unfolding tapestry of existence. To embrace the view is to accept the staggering beauty, the intricate complexity, and the ultimate, beautiful mystery of the infinite, and to find your own unique, irreplaceable significance within it. So as you step back from this exploration, carry these three vital keys with you. First, acknowledge the wall. Consciously recognize the inherent, though not insurmountable, limits of your everyday perception. Second, use the window. Actively employ science and conscious inquiry as powerful instruments to see beyond those limits, pushing the boundaries of your understanding. And third, and most beautifully, embrace the view. Internalize your profound, undeniable connection to a mysterious, infinite, and awe-inspiring universe that continuously invites your participation. Klein's work isn't just a book, it's a timeless invitation. An invitation to look closer, to think deeper, and to experience the infinite not as some abstract, distant concept, but as the very ground of your being, always accessible. May your own window in the blank wall forever offer you breathtaking glimpses of the boundless wonder and infinite possibilities that lie just beyond. We've embarked on a truly remarkable intellectual and spiritual expedition together, guided by the profound insights of Sidney T. Klein and his captivating work, Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall. We've dared to gaze beyond the seemingly impenetrable walls of our current understanding, to peer through that metaphorical window, and to catch tantalizing glimpses of the boundless realities that lie beyond. This isn't merely an academic exercise, it's an invitation to expand consciousness, to question the boundaries of the known, and to marvel at the intricate dance between the scientific and the sublime. This journey, much like the universe Klein describes, is not meant to be traversed in isolation. It thrives on shared contemplation, on collective wonder, and on the continuous, collaborative expansion of perspective that only a community of curious minds can foster. Now, as we momentarily draw breath from this particular segment of our exploration, I want to issue a heartfelt invitation, an invitation to actively participate, to join a burgeoning community of fellow explorers, and to continue your personal odyssey of discovery. Your voice is not just welcome, it is essential to the vibrant tapestry of understanding we are collectively weaving. Your engagement is the very act of keeping the window open for yourself and for others. So, let's make this conversation truly dynamic, and let's illuminate this digital space with our collective insights. I am genuinely eager to hear from you. What was your most profound through the window moment from this video? Was it a sudden jolt of recognition about the interconnectedness of all things, a fresh and inspiring take on the nature of reality, or perhaps a deeply personal realization about your own place within the cosmic grand design? Did a specific concept, a particular analogy, or a resonant quote from Klein's visionary ideas strike a chord with you on a deeply emotional or intellectual level? Please take a moment to reflect and then share your insights, your questions, and your unique perspectives in the comments section below. Your contributions don't just add to the dialogue, they illuminate new facets of the blank wall and reveal previously unseen windows for others to peer through. Don't hesitate to articulate what moved you. Often, the most significant shifts in understanding begin with the courageous sharing of a single, deeply felt thought. If this journey through Klein's visionary ideas has indeed expanded your perspective, if it has ignited a new spark of curiosity within your soul, or helped you to perceive the world and its mysteries with a newfound clarity and wonder, then I sincerely encourage you to show your appreciation by giving this video a like. That simple gesture is incredibly powerful. It helps us immensely by signaling to others that there are profound ideas worth exploring and sharing. And if you are eager for more such profound journeys into big ideas, if you yearn for deeper dives into the philosophical underpinnings of science, or further explorations of the vast, uncharted territories where human intellect courageously meets the infinite, then please make absolutely sure to subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you'll become a vital, active member of our growing community of inquisitive minds, committed to keeping these crucial windows of understanding wide open. And don't forget to hit that notification bell too, so you'll be among the very first to embark on our next adventure into the fascinating unknown. For those whose intellectual curiosity has only just been piqued, who now feel an insatiable desire to peer through even more windows in the blank wall, I wholeheartedly recommend extending your exploration beyond the confines of this video. Of course, the foundational text itself, Sidney T. Klein's Complete Science and the Infinite, or Through a Window in the Blank Wall, is an absolutely indispensable read for anyone who found inspiration and resonance here. Delving into the full breadth of his arguments, contemplations, and carefully constructed logic will undoubtedly deepen your understanding and open further perspectives. But don't stop there. Consider complementary works that explore similar profound themes from different vantage points. For instance, you might find profound companion insights in books that expertly bridge physics and philosophy, such as Quantum Enigma, Physics Encounters Consciousness by Bruce Rosenblum and Fred Kuttner, or delve into the grand cosmic narrative with works like Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan, which beautifully contextualizes humanity's place in the vastness of the universe. Even more abstractly, exploring classic philosophical texts on metaphysics or epistemology can offer further robust frameworks for contemplating the infinite and refining your own window on reality. Each of these resources offers its own unique vista, its own carefully crafted aperture into the larger reality Klein encourages us to perceive. As we conclude this specific chapter, let's carry forward a fundamental, empowering truth. The journey of discovery is not a finite quest with a definitive endpoint. It is, in its most magnificent essence, an endless, breathtaking, and continuously unfolding expedition into the very heart of existence. Every question we bravely pose, every challenging theory we thoughtfully ponder, every new perspective we eagerly embrace, and indeed every window we bravely peer through, brings us immeasurably closer to a more profound, more nuanced, and ultimately, more awe-inspiring appreciation of the intricate mysteries that perpetually surround us. Let us, therefore, keep our minds perpetually open, our innate curiosity eternally vibrant, and our spirits ever ready, ever yearning, to explore the boundless wonders of the infinite. The universe, in all its enigmatic splendor, is not just waiting for us to observe, it is waiting for us to truly engage, to ask, to seek, and to forever keep that window open.